You're going to rest our hands in our lap this morning, so just making kind of like a bowl shape with your hand and resting one hand on top of the other. And just comfortably resting that in your laps. Okay, we can start off by closing your eyes. Get comfortable. We're going to give it a moment or two this morning to drop in to our practice. So sometimes in the start, our minds can still be a little bit busy. It does feel like it might be a little bit more accessible in the morning to do this type of practice where we allow our minds to settle and give our minds a break. So there where you are with your eyes closed. Take your last bit of movement. If you feel tight in the neck and the shoulders, just wiggle it out, roll it around, maybe even wiggle your bum around, and then just grounding with your bum down into the floor. Make sure that you're sitting up nice and tall, you're really nice and lifted, and there's a light little squeeze in your lower belly. Starting to bring attention to your breath. Noticing the direction of your breath. Noticing whether your breath feels easy this morning, whether it feels quite tight and restricted, whether you're easily breathing in and out through your nose, or whether it's easier for you to breathe through your mouth. If you can, for today's practice, keeping your lips sealed, we'll be breathing in and out through our noses. Now imagining that your body is a container and the breath like water starts to fill the container from the bottom all the way up to the top. Playing with that visual just a couple of more times. Maybe every time you get to do that, you get to fill your container a little bit fuller, a little bit higher, coming up a little bit higher, maybe up more towards your chest, your lungs. Maybe all the way up to the back of the throat. Just for a few moments, returning back to your natural breath, allowing for a few easy, soft breaths. Then we'll start to work with the north, east, south, and west corners of our body. With your eyes closed, just taking awareness down towards the ribs above the belly button. That would be your north corner. East would be a little bit down towards the outside of the left rib cage. South would be the lower belly, the front and the lower back, almost as if you can press the breath towards the lower back too. And then the west would be the right side rib cage. Sending your breath into all four directions. As well as working three-dimensionally with your breath. So as we can easily breathe forward into our front body, with a little bit of effort we can breathe into our side bodies and into our back bodies. So again, trying to fill the container with breath. This time filling the entire container, not just the front, the middle, or the back of the container. Letting it fill up. Feel your breath expand and flow into all corners. Not taking it too seriously, just experimenting with the breath. Maybe you notice now that these last couple of breaths feel a little bit more open and a little bit fuller than the first couple that you took. It's okay if you feel a little bit uneasy here. It's okay if you feel good. Don't attach yourself too much. Just stay with the practice. Then you can release your breath once again. And then bring your attention to the tip of your nose or around the nostrils, where the air is pulling in and where the air is releasing and going back out. Every time you feel that your mind is going some other place, bring your awareness back to your breath. See if you can just focus on the breath. Maybe it seems like there's not much to the breath, but once you tune in and get a little bit more excited and start to explore a little bit more, you start to notice subtleties, little different things going on. It's very normal for your mind to want to jump. It doesn't mean that you're not doing this practice right. It's all part of the practice. When you do find that your mind is wandering a little bit, catch yourself in the moment. You can notice what you're thinking about, let it go. You can always come back to it at a later stage. Coming back, just focusing on the breath. You can even go and travel with the breath, going in through the nostrils, down the back of the throat, down towards your belly, traveling back up with that slightly warmer breath, up the belly, down, up the chest, back of the throat, and back out through the nostrils. Just noticing what your body feels like. Maybe your toes feel a little bit colder than your fingertips. Maybe you feel a little bit tight around a certain area in your body. Noticing the texture of your clothes on your skin. Maybe the texture of your mat. What else can you feel? Switching on your surround sound, starting to open up your ears, listening to the sounds around you. Again, without attaching to those sounds, just noticing them. Noticing what they sound like instead of what it is. Trying to listen to the furthest sound from you. Maybe even thinking about what is generating that sound? What is behind that sound? What does it take to make that sound? And then drawing yourself a little bit closer, starting to listen to sounds a little bit closer towards you. Keep drawing the sound Keep drawing it in until you can listen to the closest. Maybe it's your breath that you can hear, maybe it's your heartbeat. With your eyes closed, you can take your right ear over towards your right shoulder. Maybe you can feel a light stretch over your cheek, your ear, your neck. Just allowing yourself to slow down. Bringing your head back up to center, taking your left ear over to your left shoulder. Really allow your shoulders to drop down away from your ears. Bring your head back up to center, lowering your chin down towards your chest. At first there might be some resistance. After a while, your chin will start to go further down towards your chest. The back of your neck will start to lengthen and open up more. It's almost like you feel like you have reached your max, and then gravity just takes you a little bit further, releasing all resistance. Just checking in with yourself what you're looking for here. Maybe you're a little uneasy and you're looking for a big feeling or a big sensation. And there's just small little ones happening. And then gently rolling your right ear over to your right shoulder. Coming back through the center towards the opposite side. In your own time, just gently moving your head from side to side. And bringing your right ear over to your right shoulder. You can stretch your left arm out next to you onto the mat. You can either keep your eyes open or you can keep them closed, or you can open them or keep them closed. Lifting your left fingertips up and away from the mat, pointing your fingertips down to the ground. Starting to change the angle of your head, so maybe turning your chin a little bit more towards your shoulder. A little bit more forward, up, back, just changing the angle of your head, your neck. And if you find a spot that needs a little bit of love, a little bit of attention, maybe just hang out there for a moment. Lifting your left fingertips up to the roof, flexing your hand upwards, taking your hand back down, a couple of times up and down in your own time. Maybe rolling through the wrist, turning your elbow up to the sky, back down to the floor. Reaching with your fingertips nice and far away from you. Start to lift that arm up to the roof, like you're flapping your wing and taking it back down to the floor. Couple of times, reaching the arm back up to the sky and taking it back down again. One more time, breathing in, reaching the arm up. Nice big breath in, and as you breathe out, just take it down halfway so that your hand is in line with your shoulder. Turn your thumb down to the ground so that your palm is facing back behind you. Keep turning your palm back behind you, maybe so that the palm goes all the way up to the roof and your shoulder starts to rotate forward and inwards and down. And then slowly turning your palm back up to the roof, taking your arm up to the sky. You're going to reach your right hand out next to you, crawl it nice and far over, and you're going to stretch over towards the right hand side. You can either stay in your hand, you can lower yourself down onto your forearm. Just make sure that your left sit bone stays grounded in the floor. Reaching and stretching that top arm over. You'll see the shoulder might want to crawl up to the ear, pull it down and away from the ear, and then turn your gaze up to the roof if that feels comfortable for your neck. Maybe lean slightly backwards. And your next breath in, breathing in, reaching yourself back up and down. Hand goes down to the ground. Chin comes down to the chest. Rolling your left ear to your left shoulder. Maybe changing the angle of your head. Gazing a little bit upwards, going a little bit back, finding the sweet spot. When you're ready, you can float the left fingertips away from the mat. Pointing the fingers down to the floor, lifting them back up to the sky. Down, upwards. Maybe a few rotations through the wrist. Taking that arm nice and high, flying it up to the sky. Nice big breath in, and as you breathe out, bring the arm back down to the floor. Breathing in, reach the arm away from you, making a big circle upwards. And breathe out, taking it back down again. Breathing in, reaching it up. Breathe out, take it down. One more time, breathing in, taking it upwards. Breathe out, come down halfway. Turn your palm forward towards me or towards the front. Now take the palm down to your mat, the thumb down to your mat. Rotate your palm back behind you. Keep turning as much as you can. Try to sit up tall. Keep the ear to the shoulder. And slowly turning your arm back forward again. Taking the arm back overhead, reaching towards the opposite side, taking a nice side body stretch. Again, keep both sit bones grounded into the floor. Maybe this side feels a little bit different. I'm actually able to go down a little below this side. You're just noticing the difference in your body. Maybe you can gaze upwards, maybe lean slightly back as if you want to show your chest up to the roof. Breathing in, pulling yourself back up again. You can release your hand down to the ground. Breathe in, reach both arms overhead. Interlace your hands, turn your palms up to the sky. Lift your shoulders to your ears and then pull them down and away from your ears, chin to your chest. And you can lift your head back up again. Take a big breath in, sitting nice and tall. As you breathe out, twist towards your right hand side. Take your left hand onto your right knee, your free hand back behind you. Press it behind your lower back, and you can give yourself a little twist looking far back over your back shoulder. Breathing in, come back to center. Interlace your hands, turn your palms up. Breathe in, twist to the other side. So this time going to your left side. Release your hands down. Left hand behind the lower back, right hand onto the left knee. Pull using your hand on the knee. I want you to pull your belly button in, sit tall, twist through your belly, your chest, your shoulders, and at the last moment, look back over your back shoulder. Breathing in, coming back to center. Okay, reach your arms forward in front of you. You can bring your palms and your fingertips to touch, chin to chest, round your back as if you're doing cat-cow. or rather a cat position. So push your hands forward in front of you as much as you can. Pull your ribs in as if someone's giving you a tiny little punch in your belly. You suck your belly in, trying to take in the punch. Chin to the chest. There we go. Breathing in, lifting your chest up, opening your arms up, flying your arms back behind you. Try to hug your shoulders together at the back. As you breathe out, round your back, chin to chest, reach your arms forward, forward, pull your belly in, suck your belly in, fingertips squeeze, palms squeeze. Breathing in, opening up your chest, taking your arms back behind you. That's it, that's it. Puff your heart forward, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and chin to chest, bring your hands together. In your own time, flowing through a few more rounds as you open up, bringing your hands together. And this is a good time to do it with your breath, with the rhythm of your own breath or the depth of your own breath. So just moving through a few more rounds in your own time. Really stretching it out nicely. Rippling through your spine. Reaching your hands out in front of you. You can bring your palms down onto the mat. Push your bum back, walk your hands forward. Fold your belly forward over your thighs, bring your forehead down towards your mat. Move your head from side to side, move your shoulders a little bit. Maybe there's a bit of cracking going on. Walking your hands over towards your left knee, so walking your hands past the side edge of your mat and dropping your forehead down towards your left knee. Maybe see if you can push the left hand a little bit further forward. Keep those sit bones down. We'll be here for a couple of breaths. Settle in. Notice what you're feeling here. And walking your hands back through the center. Let's go over to the right hand side. Drop your head. Release your shoulders. Allow your face to soften. Relaxing your mouth, your jaw, your eyes, your cheeks. And walking your hands back to the center line. Walk your hands a little bit further forward in front of you. Really stretch it forward. Push your bum back. Reach forward. And slowly start to roll yourself back up again. You're going to stretch your legs out in front of you. Bringing your inner thighs and your ankles to touch. Flex your toes back towards your face. Breathing in, reach your arms up to the sky. As you breathe out, lower down halfway. Take your fingertips to the floor. Chin to chest, rolling yourself back up again. Reach your arms back behind you, circling them up to the sky. Big breath in, sit tall, breathe out, come down halfway. Fingertips go down, sliding back up, chin to chest, reach your arms back behind you, circle them back, arms up to the sky. Breathe in, sit tall, breathe out, go a little bit further than halfway this time. Puff your chest forward, take your hands to the ground, chin to chest, roll up, reach your arms back, stay here, interlace your hands behind your back, straighten your arms, try to lift your fists away from your back, lifting your arms up, lifting up through your chest, take a little back bend here, gaze up to the roof, lean back, maybe even pushing your fists into the floor, opening up over the collarbones. Big breath in, chin to chest, squeeze your belly down, keep holding onto your hands and fold forward. It might not be very far, that's perfectly fine. Keep pulling the arms at the back of the head. Keep pushing your forehead down, pull your belly in. Breathe in, pull yourself up. Reach your arms forward in front of you. Take a big breath in. As you breathe out, push your chest forward. Start to fold and drape your belly forward over your thighs. If you need to bend your knees here, absolutely fine, bending into your knees. See if you can reach a little bit forward, either holding onto the backs of your calves, ankles, maybe your feet. Pull yourself a little bit closer and fold. Bring your forehead down. Taking a few slow, easy breaths, noticing the lift of the shoulders. See if you can soften through the shoulders again. And we'll be here for a few breaths. So again, just tuning into your own practice. If you've been watching me, maybe just allow your gaze to soften and gaze in between your legs. Chin to chest, slowly rolling yourselves back up again. Separating your feet a little bit wider than hip distance, hands next to the bum, pressing into the floor, almost like you're trying to lift your bum off the mat. Pull your toes back, lifting your heels maybe a few centimeters away from the floor. Point your toes. Flex your feet back. Point your toes. Feel the thighs starting to warm up a little bit. Flex your feet back. Point your toes. And release. Give your legs a little shake. Flex your feet back. Turn your toes, big toes in towards one another. We're going to make big circles, pointing the toes forward, opening the legs, the feet to the side, pulling them back, making big circles with your ankles, your feet outward, sideways. You might notice that your legs are opening to the side and then coming back in again. So if you want to keep your legs still and support them, put your hands onto your thighs so that you can see your legs aren't going anywhere, they're not flopping in or out, it's just the ankles rotating. Changing your direction. Keep sitting up a little bit taller. Maybe a few clicks again. And release. Bend your knees here as much as you need to. Take your index finger and your middle finger, grabbing in between your big toe and your middle toe, holding tight. Breathe in, lift your chest up, shoulders down and away from the ears. Don't push too much. If this is already feeling good in the backs of the knees and the hamstrings, stay here. If you want to open your elbows, pull yourself closer and fold. So just really checking in with yourself, always keeping your body safe. Taking a few slow, big breaths into your belly. Taking a nice big breath in and giving a little sigh out. You can release wherever you are, slowly bringing yourself back up again. You can open your legs. We're going to straddle our legs nice and wide. All right. Like you're riding a horse, so bring your fists together. Or riding a little motorcycle or something, but then bring the fists together. Then we're going to lean backwards, like we're stirring a pot. We're going to twist to our right side, and we're going to straighten our arms out towards the right foot, go through the center, reach the fist forward, come up through the left side, pull the fist back in, lean back as much as you can, as much as your core can hold you this morning, twist to the right hand side, reach forward, come to the left side, like stirring a big pot. Keep going. And changing direction. Breathing out as you lean back. Breathing in as you come forward. Right, meet me back up, sitting back up. You're going to twist over your left leg, reach your hands towards your left knee, calf, or ankle, and take a little forward fold. Walk your hands through the center, over towards the right side. Take a big breath in, and as you breathe out, fold. Rolling yourself to come back up seated. And bringing the soles of your feet together. Push your heels nice and far from your inner thighs, holding onto your ankles. Allow your knees to drop out to the side, maybe even pushing the knees down. Breathe in, look up. Breathe out, pull yourself forward with a flat back. You can use your elbows to push your knees down, keep folding. And at the last moment, you can bring your forehead to your big toes. If you have a block, you can put a block on your feet, resting your forehead on the block. Using the grip around your ankle to draw yourself a little bit further forward, if that feels right for your body. Slowly making your way back up, straightening your legs out one more time. We're going to twist towards the left side, walking your hands back behind you as much as you can. And then you're going to start to lower yourself down into that back elbow, the left elbow. But try to get the left elbow to the back behind your left bum. So you're trying to go as far back as we possibly can. Going just as low as feels good to you. And then maybe you can stand in the backhand if that's too much. I'm looking for this twist, but then try to keep the right bum on the floor. And then let your forehead drop down. Bring yourself back up. Let's go over the right shoulder. Right hand slides nice and far back. Bum pushes down into the floor. Nice twist. Let your forehead drop. And bring yourself back up to center. We're going to sweep our legs around, meeting me in your box position. From your box pose, you're going to take some free movement. So either moving through a few rounds of cat-cow, maybe lifting your feet, rolling your ankles, tapping them from side to side, taking your hips and swaying there, maybe cat-cow, looking up, chin to chin. So there's a few options for you. Remember that there's quite a bit that you can warm up and work with in this box position. You can make circles with your shoulders over your wrists. You can move your head. So whatever your body is seeking and asking for this morning, you can go and nurture it. Again, like we did previously, if something feels good, maybe hang out there, dig a little deeper into that. Right, walking your hands back to your knees, we're going to rise up onto our knees, warming up nicely this morning. Once you're on your knees, you're going to curl your toes in underneath, bring your hands to your lower back with your fingertips pointing down. Squeeze your bum tight, push your hips forward, lift your chest and take a very small bend back. Squeeze your elbows in. When you're ready, you can pull yourself back up again. You're going to either stay with that, or you can look over your left shoulder, maybe hold on to your left heel, take your right arm forward, across, and leaning backwards, taking a half camel pose. There might be quite a bit of pressure in your lower back. It's very important then to come up higher, or to squeeze your bum, lift your lower belly, and lift your chest up to the sky. You're going to keep your legs tight. Your whole body is working hard to take pressure off your lower back. Come back to center. If you're not joining us for these ones, keep your hands behind your lower back and fold back. Right hand onto the right heel, left arm forward, crossing, cutting through the horizon, all the way back and overhead. Just going as far as feels comfortable. If you feel you can go a little bit deeper, maybe drop your left shoulder down in line with your right shoulder. Leaning over to your right hand side. You have an option now to do with both hands, or you can do one again. You can do your hands behind your lower back. When you're done, even if you're done now, you can come into a child's pose, opening the knees, the toes to touch, arms reach forward with the forehead down on the mat. Here you can take your pick for this morning. If you want to take a sip of water, you're welcome to. And And then we'll all come back up again, meeting me back on the knees. We're curling our toes in underneath. Bring your ankles to touch. Walk your hands back. If this is already enough, stay on your fingertips. Otherwise, bring your hands onto your thighs and sit backwards. Nice stretch of the bottoms of the feet. Take your arms back behind you. Interlace your hands. Straighten your arms. See if you can push your palms to touch. Pull your shoulders down. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Pull your fists away from your bum, lift your chest up, bend back just as far as feels comfortable to you. Maybe it's 3 centimeters, maybe it's 10, maybe 40. Maybe you can charge your hands all the way down to the ground. Pulling ourselves back up again. Bring your hands down onto the ground, release the backs of your feet and slapping the backs of your feet. All right. Stepping your right foot back into a high back plank. Push into the ball of your right foot, float your left knee, step your left foot back. Nice strong plank position. Lift your hips up to the sky. Lower your heels, walk your dog out, bending into one knee, bending into the other knee. You can gaze down towards your belly button. Shake your head out, yes, no. Make sure that you're pushing down into your index finger, your thumb. Swaying your hips from side to side. Bending the knees into the chest, straightening the legs out. Pushing your chest back towards your thighs, feeling into your down dog. Pressing both heels down, you're going to lift your right leg back behind you. Straightening out your back leg. Bend your right knee and open your right knee up to the side, getting the hips open. Lift high onto your left tippy toes. Come and step your right foot on the outside of your right hand. Rocking backwards and forwards, straightening out the front leg, maybe even lifting the toes away from the floor. Turning your weight back forward. Maybe staying down, circling with the hips, stirring the pot. If you're joining me, straightening the front leg, back leg stays straight, the hips drop, the chest open, looking forward. Chin to chest, straightening the front leg, lifting the toes, bending the front knee, dropping the hips, lifting the chest up. Come back, make sure your hands are underneath your shoulders. This can be a little bit tough. Make sure your body is nice and strong and engaged. Push into your hands. You can take a few hops first with the back foot, or maybe it's one float, stepping the left foot onto the outside of the left hand. If your heels are lifting off the mat, open your feet wider, or roll your mat up, putting your mat behind your heels, or maybe slipping 2 blocks in underneath your heels. Hands to heart center. Sitting nice and low, but still lifting up a little bit so that we're not hanging in the hips here. Using your elbows to push your knees wide. Sitting up nice and tall. Gently moving your knees from side to side. Your hips giving a little bit of a rock. Planting your hands down to the ground. Push through your hands, step your right foot far back onto your mat. Wiggle your left foot forward, bending into the left knee, straightening the left leg, bending, lifting your chest up. Just a couple of times here. If you made circles on the previous round, maybe trying a couple of circles on this side. Maybe even opening the left knee a bit towards the left-hand side. Meeting me back center, take a couple of hops, maybe one. Step your right foot on the outside of your right hand. Squat down, hands in front of heart center. Take your fingertips, reach them out in front of you. Use your butt muscles to pull your knees out to the side. So if you have your hands in heart center, you push your knees wide. If you release your elbows, your knees should stay there because your bum is squeezing and opening your knees up. Fingertips down, chin to the chest, gaze back in between your legs. Walk your fingertips forward, 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 look back in between your legs. Holding it for 4 more big belly breaths. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders, pushing into your hands, step your right foot back into a high plank followed by your left foot. Place your knees down, release the backs of your feet. Bring your shoulders forward over your wrists, squeeze your bum and your belly. Bend your elbows, sliding them down the side of your rib cage. Get your chin and your chest down, your belly will float off the mat. Pull yourself through, lie flat on your bellies. Make sure your hands are underneath your elbows. Pressing lightly into your hands, lift your chest up. Maybe you can even float your hands here. If you're not lifting very high, and lowering yourself back down. We'll do those 3 more times, pressing into your hands a bit more this time. Breathing in, lifting up. Breathing out, roll down, belly button, chest, forehead comes down. Breathing in, squeeze your elbows in, reach forward, lift your chest up. Shoulders drop down and away from the ears. Roll yourself back down. We'll bring in a little bit more technique with this one. So your nose is pointing down onto your mat. And as if you're rolling a stone forward with your nose, you're going to roll it forward, forward as far forward as you can, and then start to lift your chest up, pressing, and then bring your shoulders to your ears, because sometimes that actually feels like a nice stretch too. And then roll your shoulders back, pull them down, and then hug your elbows in. Squeeze your bum, press the backs of your feet firmly into the mat. Look over your left shoulder, see if you can find your left heel. Come back through the center, look over your right shoulder, see if you can find your right heel. Come back to center and lower yourselves down to the ground. Take your hands out in front of you, making prayer hands. Bend your elbows, bring your prayer hands into the back of your head, your fingertips pointing down the back of your neck like this. Okay, now I'm going to just sit up and explain to you what we're going to be doing. So keeping your hands behind your head, pressing the backs of your feet firmly down into the mat. Breathe in, lift your head and your chest. Again, maybe try to roll the stone forward with your nose, then lift your head, your chest, and your arms up and away from the mat. Really squeezing into your lower belly, trying to lengthen out your tailbone. Breathing in, coming up a little bit higher, and lowering yourself down to the floor. Great, stay there. Bending into your left knee. Sole of the foot comes up to the roof. Squeeze your left heel to your left bum. We'll do the same. Breathe in, lift your chest up. This time lift the left knee off the ground and try to reach back with your hands and try and catch your back foot. Keep pulling your back heel closer towards you. Keep lifting that knee up higher. Squeeze your bum, squeeze your hamstring, come up a little bit higher and lower down. Let's go over to the right hand side. Right knee bends in, left leg is flat on the ground. Hands still pressing together in that prayer position. Breathing, lift your head, your chest, your elbows. Lift your right knee off the ground. Pull your right heel to your right bum. Lift that leg up higher. Reach back with your hands. Try and grab your right ankle. Breathe in, come up, squeeze the bum, squeeze the hamstring, and lower down. Bending into both knees. Breathe in, lift your head and your chest up, lift your knees off the ground, reach backwards, and reach your hands back, lift your chest up even more, go back, reach back, lift up, squeeze your bum, lift your chest, lift your feet, and lower down. Give your bum a little wiggle from side to side, release your hands down your sides. And then interlacing your hands behind your back. Straightening out your arms, lift your fists away from your bum. Again, rolling the stone forward with your nose. Breathe in, lift your chest, your arms, And lift your feet off the ground. If you can, squeeze your big toes to touch. And lower back down. Last round, breathe in, lift up. You can either stay here or bend your knees, grab onto your ankles or your feet. Then pushing your feet back into your hands, lift your knees up, roll forward onto your belly button, rocking a couple of times. Otherwise, if you're holding onto the hands still, just lift up a little bit higher, squeeze the bum, and everyone lowers back down. Coming onto your right cheek, lie down, take a rest, let your heart rate settle a bit. Meeting me in Sphinx position, you're going to bring yourself up onto your forearms, popping yourself up, your elbows directly underneath your shoulders, fingers spread wide. Pull your elbows back towards you as if you're trying to push your chest forward through your shoulders. Lifting up through your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades back. Again, the bum is squeezing the backs of the feet, pressing into the floor. If you feel a pinch in your lower back, open your feet a little bit wider. Try to peel your belly button up and away from the mat. Try to lift your chest forward, puff your heart up. Shift your left hand forward in front of you. Take your right hand, thread it in underneath the left armpit, but go past it. Slide your hand past. Come lie down onto your right shoulder. Maybe your right ear touches the ground, maybe not, it doesn't matter. Bring your head down to the floor. Just checking if everyone's okay. The right arm slides in underneath the left and you lie down onto the right shoulder, the right ear. Draw your left knee in and up so that your left knee comes to your right hand. Roll yourself all the way back. As you roll back, try to drag that bent knee and then pushing your left shoulder down onto the ground. We're lying down on our backs. You might want to shift your hips a little bit forward. Just make sure that the left shoulder is on the floor. The left knee can come off the mat, that's okay. Straightening out your left arm, looking back to your left hand, giving yourself a nice little supine twist here. And rolling yourself back forward onto your belly, you can slide your left leg out. Coming back into your Sphinx position, push your right hand forward, just making a bit of a gap from your right elbow to your right chest, or your right rib cage, rather. Left hand slides through underneath that triangle. Slide it as far as you can, and then come down to the left shoulder, left ear comes down to the ground. Slide your right knee up to meet your left hand. You're staying here for a few more breaths before we roll over. Start to roll. That right knee will drag back with you as you roll back onto your back. Left hand goes onto the right knee. Right arm reaches back behind you. Supine twist. Keeping the right shoulder on the floor, turning your gaze to the right hand if that's comfortable for your neck. One little goodbye twist. And rolling yourself back down onto your belly, coming back into your Sphinx position. We'll do it with the double arm now. Push your elbows a little bit forward. Right arm slides in underneath the left. Left hand goes to the right front corner of your mat, and then keep swiveling it towards the outside edge. Walking your fingertips away from each other, cross your arms. Obviously, if this feels too intense, bring your elbows a little bit closer in towards your body. Otherwise, pushing your elbows away from each other and fold. So just to check that you're with me, the right arm is underneath the left arm is over the right. It's okay if you've got it the other way, you can just do the other side then on the next round. Slowly bring yourself back up again. Into Sphinx, push your elbows forward, left underneath the right. Slide it, right arm goes to the left. Slide your hands into an opposite direction. And chin comes down to the chest or the shoulders. And slowly and carefully bringing yourself back up again. Lowering your chest down, bring your hands back underneath your elbows. You can do a straight push-up or join me on the knees. Keeping your body squeezed tight, pull your belly in, push your bum forward, hug your elbows. Straight line with your body, start to push up into a plank or onto the knees. Curl your toes in underneath. Push your bum back to your heels, bring your forehead down to the ground, and lift your hips up, coming into your downwards facing dog. Lift your right leg high, bend your knee, open your hip up. Draw your right knee into your chest. See if you can touch your knee to your nose. Look in between your hands. Step your right foot forward and in between your hands. Lowering the back knee down to the ground. Release the back toe. Crawl your right toes a little bit further forward ahead of you. Flip your right toes up to your face and we fold forward. If you have blocks, you can put the blocks or books underneath your hands for support. If it's a little bit of a stretch to get down, you can stay up on your fingertips. Otherwise, maybe working those hands a little bit further forward. You want to be pulling your right hip back, pushing your left hip forward in front of you. Breathing in, pulling yourself back up again, bending into your right knee, get your right knee over your right ankle, curl your back toes in underneath, straightening out your back leg. Spin your back heel down onto the mat, straightening out your front leg. Again, pull the right hip back, push the left hip forward. Again, if you need to, maybe stay with your hands on your shin, that's more better support. Otherwise, hands onto blocks onto the floor, folding forward, getting your forehead towards your right knee. See if you can push the left hip forward, pulling the right hip back behind you. Right, gazing up towards your front big toe, you're going to turn your right toes, your right big toe, towards the left front corner of your mat. Take the back foot, lift onto the back heel, so spin your toes up to the roof. Keep your hands down. Maybe push that back heel a little bit further back behind you, and you're going to bend into this front knee to sit your bum a little bit lower. You can stay high, of course, or you can stay high and go down. Maybe you float your hands. Just make sure that this front knee isn't collapsing inwards. Keep pushing it out so that you're on the outside edge of the right front foot. All right, so we're going to come through the center. So if you're high, you don't have to use your hands, but if you're low, you can, or you can just knee drive with your hands up. Stay as low as you can, move through the center line. Back foot goes down, front foot flips up to the sky, coming onto the heel. Remember, you can be here. Make sure this knee is pulling out, or you can come down low. We'll do it a couple of times. Walk your hands forward or float it forward, lifting onto the back heel, low through the center, lifting the front. So in your own time, it doesn't have to be fast. Just moving from side to side. And then meeting me in the front. Bring your hands to your heart center, push up. You can push the back foot down onto the ground, toes pointing forward. Pull the knee out to the side, nice and strong through the legs. Turn your chest to the front of your mat, turn your front foot back. Bring your hands down to the ground, spin onto the back wall of your foot. Take your right arm up to the sky, twist. Place your back knee down again. Lift yourself up. Reach your right arm back, your left arm forward. Bring your hands to heart center, hook your left elbow onto the outside of your right knee. Push with the top hand into the bottom hand, look back if you can, sending your hips down. Breathe in, come back to center. Take your hands to the floor, straighten your back leg, step back into your high plank. Knees, chin and chest come down to the floor. Pull yourself through, breathe in, lift your chest up. Chin to chest, push to your knees, curl your toes under, lift your hips up, down dog. Left leg reaches high, bend your knee, open your hip up. Draw your left knee into your chest, kiss your knee. Give a little sound effect, mwah. Step it in between your hands. Find your balance. Drop the back knee down. Wiggle your left toes further forward ahead of you, slide it. Pull your left toes back. Remember, you can keep a bend in the knee. Stay up or folding forward. If you have an injury like I do on this side, or anywhere else in your body, sometimes when you do stretches or strength, you can feel that the body starts to tremor. That's a good time to really try and engage your body, engage your muscles. Maybe pushing down through that front heel, dragging it back towards you. Walking your hands back forward, bring your foot back underneath your knee. I'm just going to turn around. Actually, let me stay where I am, it's fine. Straightening out your back leg. Turn your left front big toe to the front right corner. Spin onto the back heel, lifting the toes away from the ground. Remember to stay up. Remember to open the knee just as much as your body needs. Walking low, floating through, coming to the back, lifting the front foot. So both heels are flat. Make sure both heels are flat. Front foot is lifted. In your own time, ninjaing from side to side. Maybe a little bit higher, that's cool. Squeezing into those hips. Maybe it's little ones, that's also awesome. Meeting me again at the front of your mat. Alright, turning onto the back ball of the foot, lift the back heel. Maybe hop the back foot in just a little bit, spin the back heel down onto the mat. Push your right hip forward, fold forward over your left thigh. Just staying there for another moment or two. Alrighty, bending into your front knee. Right hand onto the inside of the left foot. Left arm reaches up to the sky. Place the back knee down. Reach your left arm back onto your right fingertips. Maybe stay here, maybe pick yourself up. Hands to heart center. Right elbow hooks onto the outside of the left knee. Push with the top hand into the bottom and twist. You're trying to get your right armpit on the outside of your left knee. Slowly bring yourself back to center. Bring your hands down to the ground, straightening out your back leg. Step back into your high plank. Last one, breathe out, lower down. Squeeze your elbows into your ribs. Breathe in, fill your lungs with air as you lift your chest up. Breathe out, pull your hips back. Curl your toes under, lifting your hips back into your down dog. Gaze forward in between your hands. Either walk, step, hop, float. Come forward to the front of your mat. Cross your ankles. Sit down onto your bum. Bring the soles of your feet on the floor. Reach your hands far back behind you with your fingertips pointing forward. Not backwards, please forward or out to the side. Push into your hands and your feet. Lift your hips up. One last stretch over the shoulders. Squeeze your bum up. Lower your bum down. Straighten your legs out onto the mat. Reach your arm forward, making a bowl with your body. Slowly rolling yourself down to the mat. Turn your palms up. Flop your feet out to the side and close your eyes. We've made it to the end of our practice. Make sure that you're nice and comfortable here. Scoop your bum underneath. so that you get your lower back on the floor. If you have a block or a pillow, you can put it underneath your bum to lift your hips a bit. Get yourself comfortable. If you want to put the light off or close a curtain or grab a blanket. Otherwise, if you're comfortable, just allow yourself to rest. Feeling into the experience that your body just had. Just lengthening the back of your neck by bringing your chin a little bit down towards your chest. Maybe wiggle your shoulders down and away from your ears. If it's not suited for your body to lie on your back, maybe lie on your side, or maybe bring the soles of your feet up. Just there where you are, easing, slowing down, giving your body space to reflect on the practice it just went through. From the crown of the head, scanning your body all the way down to the tips of your fingers and your toes. If you come across a bit of resistance, maybe see if you can release and soften into that space. And then moving on to the next. The space in between your eyebrows is softening and relaxing. Soft eyes, soft cheeks, soft mouth. Soft throat, relax your shoulders. Arms, wrists, and hands. Soft chest. Soft belly. And just noticing how your belly feels. Relaxing your hips, your thigh muscles, soft knees, relax your calves. Relax and soften your ankles. Your feet, the tops of your feet, the bottoms of your feet, all 10 of your toes. Bring your attention to the tips of your ears, softly resting your attention there, allowing your temples to melt and relax. You can slowly start to breathe a little bit deeper, inviting more breath into your lungs, your belly. Very gradual. Just filling that container up to the top. Feeling your skin stretch as you breathe in. And feeling yourself shrink as you breathe out. And you start to stretch out your toes, crunching them, straightening them, stretching out your fingers, rolling through your ankles, your wrists. If you have the space to do so, dragging your arms back and over your head, slowly feeling your arms heavy. On your next breath in, stretching backwards, forwards. And as you breathe out, allow your body to drop back down. Rolling yourself over to your left or your right hand side. Drawing your knees in, lying comfortable. Supporting your head with your arm if that's needed. Feeling into one more breath here. On your breath out, feel your body melt into the mat. Releasing, letting go. With your eyes closed and your body completely heavy, slowly start to push yourself up onto your sit bones. Taking a nice slow big breath in and sigh it out. Draw your hands to your heart center, humbly lowering your chin down towards your chest. Let's take one last big collective breath together. Breathe in. And as we breathe out, we bow down. And coming back up again. I thank you all so much for joining me for this morning's class. Hope that you have a really nice day. And we'll see you guys back next week. Thank you very much. If you want to hang out, you can put your cameras on. If you want to just meditate a little longer, go for it. Maybe put my screen off. Pleasure, guys. Cool. Any suggestions, feedback, you're welcome to leave it in the chat for me. Thank you so much, everyone. It's a nice sunny day out. You can all go outside. Pleasure, students. I'll see you guys just now. Tiana, just because you're noticing the cracking now. Thanks, Charles. What point, Tian? Tian, how are you logged in twice? I see. Yeah. Yeah, it takes a little bit of effort, a little bit of practice, for sure.